understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DCTV report for the week ending Saturday, June 30th, 2018. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sarah Netzley, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have one piping hot new episode this week, fresh off the hopper, the burner, the oven, the griddle. Oh God, Ed, save me! Jump in here.
Yes, it was a season premiere.
Thank you.
and we also have a retro pick.
Yeah. Good week.
Yeah.
So can you help me wrap my head around the fact that it's July now?
Well, we're recording this on June 30th. It's still
June 30th is basically July. Don't try to sugarcoat this. I'm deep into the 5 stages of summertime academic grief. So the first stage is denial. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm a teacher. What's the date today? What's the day of the week and the day? Oh my God, are you kidding? And then we move into anger. Are you freaking kidding me? And then bargaining. If I could just have a little bit more time in June, I'll digitize all my old bills. I'll organize those family photos in that drawer. I'll get it done. Just more time in June. And then depression, which mostly for me is just like angry napping. And then acceptance. Fine. God, I'll move the folder for next semester's classes over to the desktop on my computer so it can make me feel guilty for a couple of weeks. And then in August, I might start thinking about starting. So that's what I've been going through this week. How is June almost?
Oh, okay. See, for me, July isn't as bad. For me, the hard part is August. Like, oh no, it's August. Oh, it's coming soon. Oh, we can't be halfway through this already. But
yeah, for me, I always am like, I'm going to get a jump start on my classes this semester. I'm going to start in July and I'm going to plan it out. I'm not going to do things at the last minute. And I've been a professor for 14 years and I always do it at the last minute. And I have a new class in the fall and I really should be working on it now. And June is over. Apparently, I'm still in the depression stage of things. But, I mean, we got the 4th of July. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Do you have plans? Do you have traditions?
Used to always go over to a family member for a barbecue, but like it's been kind of nondescript for the last few years. I don't have any hard plans, I was thinking because both of my parents are working, I might have some friends over, but they're all antisocial geeks, so
having met some of them virtually and via Skype, I can confirm.
Yes. So that's kind of what I've been going through lately.
So is there a fireworks spectacular someplace in your area that everybody goes to in droves, or is it a diverse and big enough place that there's just a million options?
Well, no. I mean, there is always big fireworks. A lot of people head to the beaches, like literally a block away from where I live. I'm a block and a half away from the shore, and there's a great view of New York Harbor. And comparing on where you go and where they're launching the fireworks, you can usually get a good view of it. Or you can watch it on Channel 11.
Speaking of antisocial geeks.
Yeah.
So can you see it from your house? Like, are you able to just wander to the backyard and be like,
kind of, but there are buildings in the way, but if you walk a block away to the beach, you can actually get a decent view.
That's really cool. Because the worst part here in my town, we've got a huge fireworks display on the river, and it's great. And everybody comes from miles and miles and miles. It's probably the best fireworks display I think south of Chicago. But the traffic leaving is horrific. Like you have to be prepared to sit in your car for 2 hours afterward to get on the bridges to get wherever it is you're going, because we don't really have the on foot capability necessarily. So that's really awesome because you can just leave under your own steam and be home in 10 minutes to watch the replay on TV. But we've just moved, so we have a view of the river, so we are super curious if from our porch will we be able to see it, how good is it going to be, how close are we going to be. So this year is a fact-finding mission before we start actually inviting people over because it's awesome, or having to actually physically go again because it's not. We'll see.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we got plans, kind of.
Sort of. But a bit of business. I wanted to mention at the top of last show and I forgot, but I do want to say, our DCTV report is available on Spotify now. Ooh. So, if you like to use Spotify to find podcasts or just content or entertainment, DCTV Report is available there now, as well as where we've always been: Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, your podcast app of choice. iTunes, iHeartRadio. I think we're on iHeartRadio and TuneIn as well. So yeah, there's that, and if you want to throw us, get in contact with us, you could tweet us at DCTV Reports. And people were doing that while Preacher was going on, and you can email us at dctv@wickedtheory.com.
And we always talk about this at the end of the show, but if you wanted to throw us a couple of 5-star reviews on your podcast app of choice, then we wouldn't hate that.
Yeah. It's a great way, especially Apple Podcasts, because that's how they drive their algorithm to, so the more reviews that we get, whether the more people are going to be drawn to the shows. Even just do do a 5-star review, and you don't have to, when just write a couple words, just random nonsense.
You can call us garbage. You can call us the creative invectives of your choice, and we'll read them on air if you give us 5 stars.
Or just say Sarah and Ed told me to do this.
They threatened me. They sent incriminating photos. Here's their 5 stars. Please let my dog go. I mean, that's fine. We'll let your dog go. 5 stars.
All right. You ready to dive into the episode?
Let's do it.
All right. So, first up, Preacher, Season 3 premiere, Angelville. Years ago, Grandma killed her daughter with a scalpel and learned of baby Jesse. In the present, Jesse brought the just-killed Tulip to Angelville and begged Grandma to help. Tulip found herself in purgatory, watching her disappointing childhood play out on a black box sitcom set. Cassidy told Jesse about his affair with Tulip and blamed Jesse for her death. Last-minute reveal: now that Tulip was alive, Grandma made it clear she would hold Jesse to his blood oath to Angelville.
So Preacher is back, and I think it opened on a dude in his underwear with an erection. So yeah, Preacher is back. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is our first time really fully discussing Preacher on our podcast. It's back. This is the first time since we started this. Ed, is this a show that you enjoy? ?
It is very strange. I enjoy it. I enjoy it overall. There's some moments that are cringe moments. Notoriously, I was not a fan of the comic, just because Garth Ennis and his shock value approach. I've had mixed feelings about over the years, but I like the quirkiness to this show that seeps in here, and it puts it through through an interesting lens, I think. I'm not as in, I mean, the action is good. I'm not as into like the gore, but like just the quirky way that they move through the story is very, very interesting to me.
Okay. I was just curious because I know you are reserved about the comics, and I was curious how that affected your relationship with the show. I really like it. I like that, as you said, the quirky gore and I think they have some marvelously creative storytelling and visual approaches to things. And I feel like I can trust this show to present something to me that is absolutely bonkers and to present it in a way that I maybe haven't seen it before. I'm still not over the season 1. The fight in the Motel Sundowner, I think was the episode, when you kind of see, that was so incredible when you just see it through the knothole or whatever that was. That is when I completely fell in love with the show and the sensibility. And so it has a really, it has a lot of room for error for me, because I think what it does in such an interesting way. So yeah, I just wanted to start outside of our conversations about Preacher. I was curious where you stand on the show, because I'm cool with the gore, I'm cool with the blood. I'm cool with the blasphemy. I'm cool with, I enjoy all of it. Where I get a little frustrated is when it deviates from the comics, but it's its own thing. And I think what it does really well, usually.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I'm up for it. I'm up for it all. I enjoy the show. Actually, that kind of leads us into the email that we got.
I was going to say, so shall we talk about specifically this show? Yeah. All right, go.
Yeah. So Dan sent us an email saying, so are you guys going to be the PG-13 review of Preacher, and Bill and Company will be doing the X-rated preview of Preacher on Preacher vs. Preacher, or is there going to be a Highlander-style showdown over who gets to do the weekly review of each episode? We all know there can be only one.
Well, I've actually had that thought too, and I think we're going to approach it from a purely how was the episode as an episode of TV standpoint, and over on Preach vs. Preach, they are going to do a lot more compare and contrast with the book, right?
Yes, and I think when we started this show on the Wicked Theory podcast, I made the comment that the difference between us and Preacher vs. Preacher is that we actually like this show. And
ouch.
No, that's a jab. They do like that show. I mean, now that Bob's not on anymore. That's
gonna help. Yeah. I do think it's weird that Dan makes us sound like the Disney version podcast. Like, we're the PG, we're going to learn a lesson at the end of this. We're all going to be friends.
Yeah.
Oh, shucks. My Mickey impression is terrible.
Well, because we don't curse as much.
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry. No, you're right. We don't.
I mean, like, I always say Bill's filler word. You know how most people say, like, or ah, like when they're pausing? Bill's filler word is the F word. So it's...
I mean, he's consistent. I admire his consistency.
Yeah. It's just when you have him on, that's what you get. So that there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, this whole thing that we have to have a Highlander style epic, I don't know.
We would win.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sneaky. Well, we fight dirty.
Well, I saw
Bill would be like, what the rules of combat dictate, and we already will have like blown his knees off with incendiaries that we planted earlier.
Yeah, what's funny is I did see that Dan also posted this question on Twitter, and Bill put it to the point where it's like that Preacher vs. Preacher was the Highlander movie. Oh no, that one of us was the Highlander movie and the other was the Highlander TV show, but we're not sure which is which. And then I think Dan added on, well, as long as none of you are Highlander 2. But Ed is probably Highlander the animated series, which that was a good cartoon.
Can I be the Raven, the Highlander spinoff following Amanda, please?
Sure, why not?
Thank you.
But yeah, we're gonna have different approaches to this and different takes, and I'm probably never going to be on Preacher vs. Preacher because I haven't read the comics. Sarah, I know you're in and out of that show.
Well, yeah, so. I listened to their first episode this week, and they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have some guests on. We're gonna have Sarah Netzley on. I was like, wait, we are? Sarah Netzley has not been addressed about this, but okay, cool. I'll keep my schedule open. Call me. Anyway, so the episode, Ed.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So if we are going to spend all season in Angelville, and these stories that we're going to see this season are all Angelville stories, are you here for it, or are you wishing we could expand the world a little bit?
No, I'm up for this. I think this is cool. First season we were in Annville, second season we were in New Orleans, and if we're gonna be in Angelville, plus like these seem like really interesting characters. Like I want to know what makes Grandma tick. Are TC and Jody as like heartless and monstrous as they seem to be in this first episode? I want to know what the deal is. Like it almost feels like the fact that we're gonna catch up, like Hairstar and Hitler are going to show up this season. It almost seems like ooh, is there going to be room for them?
Yeah, as I was saying, we're going to be in Angelville all season. We are, I'm sure, with Jesse and company, but I also think we're going to see, based on casting, we're going to see some parts outside of there as well. We're going to see plenty of the Grail. Clearly that's going to expand us a little bit. So I think the show is smart to have a through line in terms of location. If they're not going to embrace the whole road trip of the comics, then we're in Angelville this season. We were in New Orleans last season. That's a great way to ground things. But then we also have the check in on the Grail as they're doing things in whatever village overseas is, so that's, I'm guessing, what we're going to see here as well, which I'm excited about. So Ed, how far into the comics did you get before you bailed? Like, did you read this arc?
No, just the first 6-issue trade.
Okay. So I'm just curious, as I talk about it, I don't want to say things that or assume that you know things. So anyway, okay. So yeah, Jody, TC, Grandma, messed up people. How long did it take you to figure out what was going on in that first scene? So we opened with years ago, which made me chuckle because they didn't want us to know exactly what was happening. I thought they wanted to keep us in the dark a little bit about exactly when that's centered, when that story is centered, but they took away the mystery pretty early, I thought. I mean, they kept us in the dark for like 5 minutes, and then they made it really clear, okay, this is Jesse's mother, and so this is 30 some years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I you know what, I picked up on that pretty quickly, but to me it didn't matter. To me it was the interesting thing, part of it wasn't that she was his mother, it was that like they actually killed her. And this is how Grandma basically finds out that Jesse exists.
See, now I did they kill? I guess you can't survive that. I guess I felt like we didn't see with this show. Who knows? Does she?
Okay. Yeah. We don't know that she actually died, but they sliced her open with a scalpel and pulled that picture out of her esophagus. I don't know. Most people I didn't think would survive that.
I'm not a surgeon. I don't know. And I don't know where the show is,
or would want to survive that.
Oh God. Can you imagine like Jody sewing you up? He'd use a rusty needle. It wouldn't be clean. He wouldn't sterilize that needle.
Yeah. And those two characters, they feel like comic book characters. Like they got like I could see like, oh, this is where that vibe comes from.
But at the same time, I feel like Jody in the comic book is when they announced the casting and when we saw some of the first pictures, I complained because the comic Jody is a mountain of muscle, and this Jody is a little softer. But you can't be like the comic book characters. Those are not physically possible ideals to achieve. This feels like that version of a really strong man at that age who is still going to mess up your world and possibly drop a truck on your head before grandma intervenes. Yeah, I think that they have translated the comic-y sensibility really, really well. And there's menace, but it's not cartoonish. I mean, it's scary. Jody is a scary guy. And what's cool is he's the one who taught Jesse everything he knows about fighting. And so can Jesse beat him? Apparently not in the first episode. So that's going to be a fun thing to watch play out is how does Jesse deal with this man who taught him how to be a badass, basically. And how's he going to overcome that, or will he overcome that? Also, Jesse and Cass finally have it out about sleeping with Tulip. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, this you knew this was going to happen inevitably, and I kind of figured out at the end of last season when you could already see that Cassidy was blaming Jesse, you know, for not letting him bite Tulip.
Well, and I think it also is a kind of a reflection of Cassidy's own self-esteem. Like, oh, you don't want her to be like me? Fine. You know, I see how you feel about that. So I think there's a lot that went into that. Cassidy to me is the unsung depths in Cassidy. I hope we can keep exploring that. You know, it's so easy because speaking of being cartoonish and comic-y, it's so easy to hedonist, addict, vampire and make him just that. And I love it when they make him more than that. So I hope they keep delving into that with Tulip, with whomever.
Yeah. And now Tulip. Tulip in Purgatory.
I loved it.
Yeah, I really liked that setup. The way it looked like a black box community theater set. You know, like the kind of thing I used to see in college. Where it was just like
I've been in shows that had sets like that in community theater.
yeah, where it's just this bare bones, and they have the laugh track going to make it seem like a sitcom. I could see Purgatory being like that. And, you know, and Tulip is kind of just this passive observer of what's going on. And, you know, it was a way. Now, we were getting some tweets about this. At Gibosaurus was commenting that the fact that Tulip's parents are so different from the book breaks my goddamn heart. Papa O'Hare was a phenomenal character.
Oh yeah, co-signed, agreed. Oh yes,
yeah.
I really am going to try not to do comparisons with the comic. You know what I think the difference is here? And I was thinking about this. When we talk about The Flash, or when we talk about Arrow, or when we talk about Supergirl, there have been a lot of different iterations and different storylines. And then you have the, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths that changes everything and this and that. So you can't talk about the definitive story is X for Brainiac 5, right? But with Preacher, this is the definitive story on Preacher. There is no reboot, and there is no, well, you know, when so-and-so took over drawing. Nah. So that's why I think you're a little more you are a little more justified in being frustrated if you've made changes, because you have the one storyline. Does that difference make sense? You're much more steeped in comics than me, but does that distinction track for you?
Yeah. I can definitely understand where you're coming from with that.
So that being said, changing Tulip's backstory is one of the biggest confusions I have. I don't know why they did it. I don't understand what it gave us to change daughter of a single father who did the best he could, who raised her with a certain sensibility, and that drove her to be who she is. Why would you change? So I'm glad we got to see what Tulip drives her. I thought this was a clever way to do it without info dumping, like Tulip has a monologue by the fire. My daddy was no, they didn't do that. They did it in such a wildly creative way, and I thought it was really cool. And I loved it when adult Tulip occasionally answered for child Tulip, because to me it said that's who she still is in some instances, and in some ways she's still that scared kid, or she's still that confused kid, or that defiant kid, and that helped build layers on her character in a cool way. So I really liked it. If we aren't going to get the Tulip from the comic, I'm glad they gave us this version and explained what makes her tick. I'm still frustrated as well that they changed it, but this is the show and it's different and it's fine. And I enjoy this Tulip, but I had to express my frustration.
Yeah. I would also say I was I thought I really appreciated the tragedy of that story, where her dad was a good man, but just because of circumstance couldn't help himself.
Yeah.
And
he tried. He tried.
Yeah. He tried, and then just because of the way he was, or the circumstances and everything, he just couldn't help but do these horrible, these bad things that kept getting him into trouble, and then finally consumed him. And I think it makes Tulip aware that mean streak is in her as well.
Mm-hmm.
And how is she going to deal with that? Especially now that she has this second chance at life.
And I am curious if she'll come back different. I'm also really curious at the choice. And tell me if I'm reading too much into this. When she finally did come back, she looked at Jesse, and then her eyes really held on Cass. And I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that was indicating where she is emotionally, romantically, mentally, whatever, or if that's just where her eyes fell. I don't know. Was I reading too much into that, do you think? Is this going to be a Tulip gravitates toward Cassidy season?
I think that's where we're going to start. And I think almost initially because, that life of crime that she led was, side by side with Jesse, that maybe if she wants to get away from that, she may feel like she needs to get away from Jesse. Now Cassidy is a horrible second choice.
I was going to say that's not a great straight and narrow choice.
No, but the one advantage he has is that he's not Jesse. So I don't know, especially because Jesse's the one who pulls her out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is kind of ungrateful that she
yeah.
Well, also,
and so I don't know if it was just coming back to life disorientation. I mean, it's possible I'm giving too much weight and symbolism to that.
Well, I mean, to me, the more indicative moment was when Jesse, he walks up and he sees the two of them just dead asleep in the bed together, not lying next to each other. To me, that's more where his head is at. And also now that he's, pulled into grandma and like, what exactly does that mean? That blood oath? Like, what is she gonna make him do now?
It has set up some nice mysteries for the season. I like that they haven't spelled everything out. I like that we don't quite know where her powers come from, but we get a sense of the rituals and the routines and the expectations. We see Angelville at its kind of glory when we had the flashback, and we see the tourists and this and that. Also, dude, have you recovered from grandma eating the hair and fingernails? If I have not, that was rough.
Yeah. I'm wondering, and what's the other thing I'm wondering? I was wondering in this episode, where did they find that Booberry?
Is it, listeners, if your local grocery stores have Booberry, could you let us know? Because that feels like a specialty Amazon order or eBay, and you find some sketchy seller who's probably, been hoarding that for years. And where?
Like, I feel like, I feel like it's seasonal. Like,
oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like, we'll bring it out for like 2 weeks a year, just randomly. Well,
now I need to put a note in my phone calendar to be like, check stores for Booberry on October 25th.
All right.
Okay, 2 quick things before we move on. One is 12 minutes into this premiere, and a chicken runs across the screen in the episode where we're introducing TC. I see you, Preacher. Readers of the comic know. And just officially, last time, and then I swear to God I'll stop talking about this, the comics did this Tulip storyline better. The power and the emotion and the epic romantic arc of this death storyline, so much better in the comics. That's all I wanted to say. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to try never to revisit this again, but that's what I was looking forward to seeing more than anything else when I heard about this adaptation, and they didn't give it to me. They gave me something, and it was good, but it wasn't what it could have been. Okay, I'm done. All right, moving on.
Okay, what news do we have for Preacher this week?
All right, so not a lot of news, but comicbook.com did an interview with Jeremy Child, who plays Jody. And one thing he said that I thought was really interesting was that he and the showrunners discussed it and agreed that he should play Jody as in love with Christina, Jesse's mom. And that's going to be the motivation that drove him then, possibly is still driving him now. I don't really know. But that is an interesting twist on the character that I don't think comes from the comics. And that is something that I personally am going to keep an eye out for as the season progresses, is how is Jody's presumably twisted love for Jesse's mom shaping him then and now. The other thing that Jeremy Child said is that he's been a fan of the comics since the 90s. He read the comics when they were fresh and new. He even had the old-timey action figures that came out at the time, where like the Jesse action figure, you pressed a button and his eyes lit up when he used the word. And yeah, so I love it when a longtime fan gets to act in the adaptation of something that they were in love with back in the day. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's blast through. Let's jump through these news for other shows.
Okay, we can do that. So let's start with the DC Universe. Ed, the DC Universe website is live. Did you watch the trailer?
Did I watch it? Yes, I did.
Okay, how many times did you watch it?
Ooh, every hour on the half hour.
Every time that clock's gotta watch the trailer. Rewatch the trailer.
Yeah, I saw Sicario 2 last night. I had to walk out of the theater twice to make sure that I got in those views. I finally had a month where I went over my data plan, which never ever happens. Yeah. So that was exciting. That was exciting.
So the trailer told us when it's premiering, right?
No, it does not.
Okay, so the trailer told us how much it's going to be when we subscribe?
No, it is not.
It told us like exactly what shows are going to be available?
Well, it showed us some of them.
So the trailer gave us hints and teases of stuff that we already know about, but nothing actually new?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But packaged in a slick, shiny, exciting way that made me pump my fist and say, yeah!
The slickest and shiniest.
So what kind of stuff? So there was a lot that flashed across the screen.
Yeah.
For me, what stuck out was Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, because Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman forever. That was exciting. So we saw some movies, we saw some TV shows, we saw animation.
Yeah, we saw the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, the Tim Burton Batman movies. There's a dozen different shows. Lois and Clark. You had Superboy is going to be included in there. Basically everything that's not streaming now on a service. The big things that were there were the Linda Carter Wonder Woman TV show from the 70s and Batman the Animated Series. And the distinction for both of those is that it's the first time that they will be available in HD. Because I when we started reviewing Batman the Animated Series, I've been lamenting like, this is good, but it needs an HD transfer. It's still standard def, even when I went to see Killing Joke, they had clips of this in the Mark Hamill stuff, and it's just like, oh man, that I wish that had a better quality to it. And we're gonna get that on DC Universe, so I'm looking forward to that.
So can you tell me, the one clip I really couldn't place was the sort of waxy corpse-like woman dripping black goo from her mouth. What the hell DC show is that from? Do you know the image I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, there's the next time during your next half-hourly trailer watch. I feel like it's kind of early-ish on. It looks like something from a horror movie with some sort of ghoul oozing black slime from the mouth, and I just didn't recognize that as like Superman?
You sure that wasn't like Danny DeVito from Batman Returns?
No, I would recognize that. No, it was definitely a lady. It was not the Penguin.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're listening and if you know what I'm talking about, let me know. I'm super curious. And if you're like me and you pause to read long blocks of text, at the very end of the trailer, they do actually say, hey, if you like to pause and read long blocks of text, this is for you. Here's what everything is from. And then it has a definitive list of where all the clips are from. But I couldn't quite match it up and I didn't want to work that hard. So anyway, so I guess the news there is that the DC Universe website is live and they do have a sign up to be a beta tester. And did you put your email in?
Yes, I did. Yes, I put several emails in.
I did as well. Even though it opts you into receiving special email offers and whatnot. So we have opened our inboxes up for spam for you people. We did it for you.
Yeah. So we'll see where that pans out. I'm glad that, we have a target date, so they're saying sometime in the fall. So I'm hoping like October. And we'll see if we get the beta testing there. But yeah. So
so it's nice to see more forward motion and to see they're clearly putting time, attention, and money into this. So this is not for all the it's coming, we're not going to tell you when, where, why, or how. It really does look like there's a lot of thought going into it behind the scenes. So hopefully we'll get more details very soon.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the shows.
All right. So starting with the granddaddy of the CW shows, Arrow, we have a title for the season premiere, and that is going to be Inmate 4587.
Ooh. Yes, the old classic Inmate episode title.
And if you want a little bit of history on that number, it is the same number that was used on a warehouse in the Legends of Tomorrow episode Star City 2046.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's just some writer's favorite number. It is also the agent number of Vinny Terranova from the television show Wise Guy. I don't know if that has any bearing on Arrow.
That is probably a coincidence.
What? I think Arrow season 7 is going to be heavily inspired by whatever Wise Guy is.
Yeah. I do know. I think it was 47 was a recurring number that went all through Star Trek The Next Generation. So there is
47 is a J.J. Abrams number as well.
Ah, okay. So
that was in Alias and that was in I feel like there were other JJ properties. Anyway.
Yeah. And of course, there's always 42.
Of course. So, season 7, we have a little bit more just general information about the shape of season 7. And that is that Oliver is going to be an inmate at Slabside Maximum Security Prison. Slabside is pretty dire sounding. And he's going to find himself vulnerable as a mysterious new enemy begins to unravel his work as the Green Arrow. It's not clear from that description if this mysterious new enemy is in the prison with him or is outside. I would think outside it'd be easier to unravel his good works. And the Screen Rant article that I read this in mentioned that David S. Goyer had actually written a script for a Green Arrow movie that was ultimately scrapped. But in that movie, Oliver is locked up in a supermax with people he put away. And so he has to survive in there, and then he has to break out and he has to get help from those former enemies to let him do it so he can take care of business on the outside. So the thought is that maybe this is going to be kind of a riff on that scrapped Green Arrow movie.
Yeah. I mean, that'll certainly be interesting to see. And, it's funny because like I just found out about that David Goyer script a few months ago, but evidently it's like 10 years old. And it's one of those things that, it's funny. You think, and you keep track of all the projects in development, but some things, I guess they don't ever announce until after they're scuttled.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
And, again, I made this joke last week, but 10 years ago, If they'd made a Green Arrow movie, who do they get to play Green Arrow? You know, it's Ryan Reynolds. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
He is all the greens.
Yeah.
All the DC greens. Okay. Let's see. So that's it for Arrow. The other CW-verse show we have a little bit of news on is Legends of Tomorrow, and that is casting. Courtney Ford has been upped to a series regular for next season of Legends. She, of course, played Nora Dark last season, and I'm excited by this. I love Nora Dark. I loved her and Ray together. Not that big a surprise because the actors are married in real life. I am a little leery about how many people Legend seems to be adding for next season. How big is the Wave Rider, yo?
Yeah. Well, so we don't know. She may be a villain. She may, turn. I don't know. I think it's nice that her and her husband are working together because she's married to Brandon Routh.
They can carpool. It's nice.
Yeah.
I do remember hearing that, or we reported on this show, not hearing, I heard myself say it, that somebody on the Legends team is going to turn traitor. And it would be kind of cool if somehow that is Ray. And she's the one who, I don't know, brings him back or lures him away. Or that could be an interesting, they had a connection at the end of the season. Maybe she pulls him to the dark side. I don't know. I just wrote a little fanfic there for you. You're welcome.
All right.
So that is it really for the CW verse. Then moving on to Lucifer, we got a little bit more news about how this might look as it hops over to Netflix. One bit of news is that they're going to add a character from Lucifer's past who will bring a whole new dimension to things. The article specifically said it's not Azrael. It does not specifically say that it's not Gaudium, which is a character I don't know anything about, but it's from the comics, and people who have read the comics seem to lose their freaking minds at the suggestion that Gaudium might have been added. Or the showrunners earlier in the season, last season, said they would love to introduce Gaudium. They haven't yet. People who read the comics were like, yes, please do that thing. So I don't know if this is, it didn't say who, but that would be really cool from what I understand from the comic reader perspective.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that character either, so I can't really give perspective, but all right, at least as long as they know where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, it's they have ideas they want to execute. They've got this chance to do it with this Miraculous Resurrection season 4. So cool. Speaking of Miraculous Resurrection season 4, showrunner Ildi Modric gave an interview with TV Line saying that you don't have the network restrictions on Netflix. And because of that, Lucifer is going to embrace a little bit more skin, a little bit more blood, a little bit more of the horror aspect. But it's not going to go extreme. It's still going to stay within the language of the show as they've set it up. She wants to keep it so she can still watch it with her tween daughter, basically. So it's not going to go full on, here's Lucifer's penis, everyone. And I for one am glad for that. I think if the show did a hard turn into, R-rated sex, violence, gore, it just would change the DNA of the show so radically. As cool as it would be to see Lucifer as, let's be honest, the Prince of Hell actually would be, it's just too different from what we're used to. And you don't want it to be a radically different show when it comes to a new network.
Yeah. I mean, you could do a little, some little fun little nudity, maybe like, the handful of women he's in the loft with, maybe they're topless, but that's, and that's like a 3-second shot. And, that's there's really not much more that you could do with that,
Well, as long as it's, I think, equal gender opportunity there, I'm fine with it. A little bit of something for the male gaze, a little something for the female gaze. Let's just,
maybe if Amenadiel comes back, we get a shot of his butt. Maybe that's.
That's a really specific request, but okay.
Yeah, I mean or maybe that's what Kevin Alejandro wants to show off. I don't know.
I mean, he did have that Men's Health spread, so he's working out. He was getting ready for his Netflix premiere. He knew all along.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's really it for Lucifer. Moving on to some DC Universe news. Titans. It looks as though Robin, Beast Boy, and Wonder Girl have all wrapped filming. Sorry, don't know all the actor names yet. I'm still trying to get my head around all these new shows that are coming out. So they've wrapped on season 1. Okay. And Brenton Thwaites, who plays Robin, shared a shot on Instagram of himself in costume, kind of a dramatic, moody, dark profile pic, like himself in silhouette profile, not profile pic. Like, I need to update my profile.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, it seems to me that the show is being a little more thoughtful and strategic in how it rolls out its images after the kind of disastrous leaks of set photos from a couple of months ago, where everybody looked sort of cheap and tawdry. And they've just been doing a nice job of using social media accounts to say, here is a carefully composed shot of my costume where you can see a little but not too much. Doesn't it look cool?
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah. Although I will say it is interesting that the official photo, it's been like Robin and Hawk and Dove, and that's about it. The fact that we don't have an official pic of Starfire or Beast Boy yet.
So does this mean, do you think that they are wanting to keep some things a secret, or are they, are the other looks not as good?
I don't know.
You know,
see, that's an answer I don't think we'll really have until we see the show. So, you know, anything else would be speculation on our part. But I want this to be here now. I want to see this show now. You know, it's also the fact that he's in the Robin costume, and I'm curious to see, like, is he gonna become Nightwing by the end of this year? By the end of this first season, like, is that a trajectory they're on?
Well, that's what's curious to me. Is it gonna? How much of an origin story is it gonna be? Are we gonna get characters who are already in their superheroic form, or, you know, how much evolution are we gonna see? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see. Moving on to the Titans. Is it fair to say Doom Patrol is a companion show?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a spinoff. Titans is going to come first, so.
Moving on to Doom Patrol.
Doom
we have
Patrol.
Some casting
music
rumors. Apparently, Kelsey Grammer is in talks to play Dr. Niles Calder, aka the Chief.
So wait a minute. Kelsey Grammer is going to play Niles?
That's as bad as Dean from Gilmore Girls going over to Supernatural to play Sam opposite somebody playing Dean.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kelsey Grammer's gonna play Niles. I desperately need David Hyde Pierce to react to this news.
Yeah.
I just need a confused shot on some social media account of him saying, "What?"
Well, the other thing that's interesting is you know, the Chief, which is this character, is pretty much Doom Patrol's counterpart to Professor X. And he played Beast,
but Kelsey Grammer is already Beast under the tutelage of Professor X.
Yes, but in this one, he'll be the Chief, who's basically, you know, teaching Beast Boy.
It's too much. So Niles the Beast is going to be teaching Beast Boy as a faux Professor X. It's too much, Ed. Pop culture worlds colliding.
Yeah. Joking aside, I think he's perfect for that part. I think that casting will add gravitas to the show. I if that goes through, like, I'm excited.
So what I love is somebody like me who has no idea who Dr. Niles Calder is, but if you tell me Kelsey Grammer's in talks to play him, and then Ed, you say that's perfect casting, that exactly tells me what I need to know about that character. Okay, got it. I know what to expect from that character. Got it. That's the power of somebody like a Kelsey Grammer. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. The last DC Universe news is a little bit of bad news, which is that regarding Swamp Thing. James Wan is not going to be directing. He's not going to be involved at that level.
But he is executive producing still.
Yeah. So hopefully his fingerprints will still be on it. He's just not going to be actually behind the camera.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Well.
He's busy.
Yeah. I'm still excited for that show, though. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I am too. The more I read about it, I think that's, of all of them, the one I'm the most excited about, because I like that the promise of horror romance in the swamp. Ooh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, yeah. Although the Swamp Thing live action show is not one of the shows included in that DC Universe spread. So,
well, would it be confusing? Well, no, I guess not. You've got a lot of overlapping properties there that they're going to have on DC Universe that are also going to be new shows. So
yeah. I mean, and also, it comes down to rights. So, because that's why none of the CW shows are on that is because they have those contracts with Netflix. So, it's going to be interesting to see what weaves in and out there.
Yeah.
So, all right, you ready? You ready to go on to our retro pick?
Ooh. Nope, because we have to talk about Watchmen really fast.
Watchmen. Okay.
And that mostly is just an avalanche of casting news. Millions of faces have been added to this cast, including, are you ready? Mm-hmm. Jeremy Irons, Tom Misson, who you might know as Ichabod Crane from the TV show Sleepy Hollow, Frances Fisher, who you might know because she's Frances Fisher, Jacob Ming Trent, Yaha Abdul Mateen II, Sarah Vickers. All of these people are joining Watchmen, which, according to an Instagram post from Damon Lindelof, shooting on the pilot wrapped this past week. So the pilot's done. We have added 1 million new people to the cast. It seems like this thing is full speed ahead. Ed, you want to be the dour voice of reason?
Yeah, I mean, it is a pilot. It is a pilot order, so there's no guarantee that it's coming to series. But these are
you're a monster.
These are interesting developments. That's all. We need to keep that in the back of our heads. I will say, Jeremy Irons, to me, the only thing he can be is an older Ozymandias. I think that would be really interesting casting. Although he'd have to, I don't know, because can he do it?
He's got to be blonde.
Well, he was blonde at one point.
Ozymandias is going to age into gracefully silvery blonde hair. That's all. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, and well, it's also can Jeremy Irons do an American accent?
Jeremy Irons can do anything.
This is true.
Actually, that's a good question. Has Jeremy Irons ever done an American accent? I haven't scrubbed his whole properties list, but you're right. You think of him. Well, I think of him mostly as Scar. Let's be honest.
Well, when
not really
in what was it? Die Hard with a Vengeance, he does put on that fake Southern accent when he's playing the federal agent. He goes, Wall Street, there's a lot of money here. Not quite what we're looking for, but to start. You okay, Sarah?
Yeah, no. I want more Ed doing impressions of Jeremy Irons doing Southern accents. That's good stuff. Anyways, so, but yeah, Jeremy Irons as well. And so what's interesting about that to me is that the spoilers that we saw from set photos last week, a couple weeks ago, showed a newspaper talking about Ozymandias being declared dead. Shooting on the pilot has already wrapped. The casting of Jeremy Irons is being announced now. So if Ozymandias is declared dead, are we going to get a surprise? Jazz hands, I'm alive. And is it going to be Jeremy Irons revealing that he's actually, Ozymandias is not dead. Here I am. But I mean, that just the timing of that, the pilot's done shooting. He's missing in the pilot. Then we have Jeremy Irons casting come along. So that all of that tracks for me for him playing that character and for it being a surprise reveal. Not that surprising. I think we all are going to, kind of be waiting for him to come back. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Now we want to move on to the retro pick.
Yes. All right. So Batman, the animated series. Episode aired September 7th, 1992. Joker's favor. A moment of unlucky rage caused poor Charlie Collins to owe the Joker a favor. The Joker decided to cash in that favor and asked Charlie to help him crash a police fundraiser honoring Commissioner Gordon. Last minute reveal: after tricking the Joker into giving himself up to Batman, Charlie was hoping his wife made meatloaf for dinner.
Look, we all saw that meatloaf joke coming there at the end, but that didn't make it any funnier or less welcome and like put a nice bow on this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, this was a really fun animated reimagining of the Michael Douglas movie Falling Down. Because that's how this started. I was like, wait, am I watching? Is he going to walk out of that car and get a gun and just go ham like Michael Douglas? And that movie that probably like 2 other people out there listening have seen.
That is an Uncle Jay favorite.
Awesome.
In the after show of the Wicked Theory podcast, it's usually Bill, Jay, and I. Bob goes to sleep, and Bill, Jay, and I just hang around his apartment trying to figure out, should we order pizza or go to the diner? And Jay will usually bring up YouTube clips, and it goes back and forth between the Armand Asante Gotti HBO miniseries from the mid-90s, and Falling Down has made at least 2 appearances that I can remember. Specifically the scene in the fast food restaurant. Sorry. Sidetrack.
No, that's funny. Well, it's just a movie I hadn't seen or thought of since my high school boyfriend and I walked through Family Video on Saturday night, picking up and putting down, I'm pretty sure, VHS tapes, trying to decide what to rent for date night, and rented that. So I think that's the last time I considered Falling Down, but for some reason that's the first thing that popped up. Wow, we're not talking about Batman at all. All right.
No. So just quickly to go through the credits for this episode. A lot of voices we've already seen before: Kevin Conroy, Robert Hastings as Commissioner Gordon, Robert D. Costanzo as Detective Bullock, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred, Ed Begley Jr. comes back to voice Charlie Collins. He played Germs in the Feet of Clay episode. Mark Hamill is the Joker. This is the first time that we're seeing him. And it's also the first time we're encountering Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn.
So delightful, both of them. Amazing. Just fun. Just anarchic fun.
Yeah. It was delightful. This is very different from the first 3 episodes that we've dealt with. And this is one of my favorite Joker stories. I just love that you get this through Charlie's perspective, that like, one, he encounters the Joker, he realizes he's in trouble, and as soon as he walks away there, he's like, I have to get out of here. Like, I need to move far away and change my name.
And it doesn't help. It doesn't help anything. Oh, Charlie.
Yeah. Oh, lot to enjoy here. Detective Bullock in this, Harvey, and like, this is the Harvey Bullock that I remember, and you can see where Donald Logue's performance like evolves out of this.
Oh, it blows my mind every time. I have to remind myself every time, oh wait, that's a character I know from Gotham. They're so different.
Yeah. But to me, it's like our friend Uncle Jay should be voicing this character. But yeah. What did you think of Harvey in this episode? Seeing him in a suit.
He feels slightly less nuanced than I might prefer my Harvey to be. I don't know that there's a lot of layers to that character.
No, and that's what's wonderful about him.
But he's unapologetic. He is who he is, and he's going to eat that chicken leg in that fashion, and he's going to enjoy it.
I also liked that Commissioner Gordon did not want to be there.
Yeah.
Like this.
And that felt accurate to the Commissioner Gordon I know from Gotham. Just that, nah, shucks, no.
Yeah.
I will say I learned something from this episode, and that is what on earth the word peregrinator means. Did you know that word before this episode?
No, I didn't.
Per dictionary.com, it is one who journeys or travels from place to place, especially on foot. Okay. So that doesn't even make any sense within the context, but cool. Peregrinator. Travel on foot.
Okay. All right. There was one convenient thing in this episode, which was the way Charlie had that makeshift bat signal.
Yeah. I don't know. If you have an encounter with the Joker, don't you kind of always carry a makeshift bat signal on you just in case?
Well, like, I'm wondering, does every place in Gotham have that in their, like, near the window?
It's like, in case of fire, break glass. In case of Joker, break glass. And it unfurls a bat signal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wish, it makes me wonder if, was there an early draft of the script where we saw him make something really quickly? That would have been kind of fun. But, I like it doesn't spoon feed you. You just kind of, oh, good thinking, Charlie. Good thinking.
Yeah, it's just, we need a reason for Batman to come in, and his entrance in this was incredible. The way he came.
Yeah.
He came through the ceiling and everything else.
Also, just really fast, animated Bruce in a tux. Whew. Yeah.
Oh, yes. And now, this is the first real look. It's the first look that we're getting on this show at Joker and Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dive in a little deeper into them.
Is this, so let me ask you this, locate this contextually for me. Is this the first that the show has introduced these two characters? Or is this just our first Joker episode, you and me?
Yeah, I think this is the first that the show's introduced them.
Okay. That's a heck of an introduction.
Yes. Yeah, and I like that it's a softer episode. It's not a grand plan to take over the city. It kind of shows, like, the Joker picks and chooses his lanes. It's like, oh, they're doing something for Commissioner Gordon. I should drop by.
They'd be disappointed if I didn't try to mess with this.
Yeah, and just evidently it makes clear right now, like, the Joker can escape Arkham whenever he feels like it. And yeah. Now, I will say this isn't the first Joker episode that they produced. It comes later, so like if you're just watching this straight through on the list, the order that Amazon has them in, there have been a couple of Joker episodes already, but this was the first Joker episode from when it was aired.
Okay.
But yeah. I mean, this.
Well, so first of all, why would you ever hire Crazy Clown Catering? Why would you ever? Like, even if you didn't live in a city with the Joker, why would you ever? First of all.
It's a city contract. It goes to the lowest bidder.
The words crazy clown should disqualify immediately any official bid put into the city. Good Lord. I love that this episode, in such a short amount of time, had me feeling incredibly protective of Charlie. Like, please don't hurt this nice man. He was just having a bad day. Don't hurt Charlie, for the love of God.
Oh man, you really feel for this guy. It's like, and he gets himself into a world of trouble. Yeah. And I'm glad it works out for him at the end. Although, like, that dramatic turn.
Yeah, you push a man too far and he breaks.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done. Where, like, you don't know, like, he even tells Batman he's never gonna stop. Like, and that's the same dilemma that Batman has always had is I can't kill him because I know it's wrong, but he's never going to stop.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could do is stop the bleeding for now and put him in prison. But this had stakes. This is more than just a kid show.
Mm-hmm. And what if this, please don't at me, but this is Mark Hamill at his best, as far as I'm concerned. Luke Skywalker, great. But what fun and what just cackling energy. And this may be my favorite Mark Hamill of all the Mark Hamills.
Oh, of course.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, but I love the way, like, he thinks through all of his laughs. They all have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
There's that, and then there's just that little, when you realize, like, that's when he's most dangerous. Or it's like, oh no, something really horrible is about to happen. We need to watch out.
And Arlene Sorkin, I love the dizzy but yet weirdly grounded delivery. Macrame's nice. she's delightful. I'm really liking that Harley Quinn take as well.
Yeah. It just really, yeah, she's great, and I love. She's just up for anything. She loves Mr. J so much,
and she's game. She's just game. She's game. Great.
Yeah. So,
but honestly, for me, I think the highlight, other than the Joker amazingly branding the bomb with his own face, that's just good brand awareness. Well done. And Batman apparently carrying Gooby Gone on his utility belt, also really, really handy. But Batman laughing when the bomb is a dud. Batman's laugh, it was so perfect and pure and unexpected. Batman laughs. I don't know how this episode wasn't called Batman Laughs, honestly.
Yeah. yeah, and Batman can do anything. He could do anything you want him to. Like, he is one of the most versatile superhero characters. But it's an honest in the moment thing. And it's the kind of laugh that's the kind of like the thing I imagine is that when Batman laughs, the Joker thinks that he wants to make Batman laugh, but when Batman laughs that it's not because of the Joker, it infuriates him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, the Joker doesn't actually want Batman to laugh. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also got a real kick. I've been amused by the kind of random odd security guards in the first couple episodes we watched. This background throwaway weird character for me was the Joker henchman reading the Tiny Toon Adventures comic. I don't know why. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, and his goons were really like
yeah. Also, how many OSHA violations did that museum exhibit have? I feel like active flame and trapdoors is just not. The city's going to shut that down. The city's going to be like, no, what even? Why are you even bringing this to me? No, you can't do that. Get out.
Well, the best part of it was it was a recreation. It was a replica.
And they rebuilt all the death traps. Why would you do that?
They rebuilt all the death traps, made them work, and they even put poison on the darts.
It's just too much attention to detail. Oh.
Because it's Gotham. That's why.
Do you want to know the same crew that put that together is the one that built the Batcave? And they just get these insane. They're like, oh god, another batshit require. All right, well we can. I mean, we did that cave for that crazy rich man. So we can put poison on these darts. That's fine. We can have this specced up in a week. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah. You couldn't do that in Metropolis or Central City, but Gotham, go for it.
Oh yeah, try that in Star City. Oliver Queen's going to show up and frown at you. You fellas know better than that. Get out.
All right. So, rounding things out, do you want to know what we're going to watch next week?
So much.
Okay. So the next one, if you're watching on Amazon Prime, it's or on DVD, this is Volume 1, Episode 5. Titled Pretty Poison.
Ooh.
Pretty Poison.
I have a guess as to who that's going to involve.
Okay. All
it's
right.
the Riddler. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. So yeah. Exciting. All right. So I think we're ready for the winner of the week.
Absolutely.
All right. So for Preacher, my winner for this week is Joni Mitchell.
Yep.
That when that song started playing in Purgatory, that and the Booberry and then Jesse's voice and everything, that was oh man. I mean, it's got to be like the best press she's gotten in years.
At least since Love Actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that's a solid choice, and it's as always. This show has such great music cues, and it's such great jarring. You expect one thing, and then they score it to something entirely different, and that was yet another example. Yeah, no, that's a good choice. Yeah. My winner of the week is my gag reflex. Because there were a couple times in this episode where I actually was just, ooh. It was with the esophagus cutting and the eating of the nail clippings. So my gag reflex is strong. Thanks, Preacher, for reminding me of that.
There you go. All right. We got another Preacher coming up next week. Some we're gonna watch Pretty Poison. Yeah, exciting. But I think that's all the time we have.
Yep.
So that's the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
And I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
Yeah, and follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice, and check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam.